Hello YouTubers, I'm back finally. Had some situations and just couldn't get back on here, so I apologize for that. I decided that today I would go ahead and show you my art journal. I started this not too long ago and just kind of piddle-farted around with some stuff. So let's get right to it. I've used a little bit of everything in this, from watercolor to gouache to acrylic to ink, all those good things. If you see my desk back here, just don't mind it. All right, so the first page, not so hot, but I'm just starting in this. So this is the first page. I basically just took watercolor, made it a hot mess, and then used a stencil, and I have some pretty cool stamps in here that I used, and some like iridescent watercolor in there. The next page, I am not the greatest drawer, but I tried. My mom was an inspiration for this one because we both love blue herons, and here in West Virginia they are plentiful, so we totally love seeing them. This next one, this one, it was done all in watercolor, and it was the Winsor & Newton. This one, the background I did in watercolor, and my husband got me these cute stamps. He's into hunting and all that good stuff, but I'm not really. I go fishing, but I'm not a big hunter. But I made this one. This one is, again, watercolor and some stamps. This one has actually been some of my friends' favorite. It is actually made with acrylic and has some glitter in there too. So a lot of my friends are like, oh my gosh, I really want that one, but it's going to stay in the journal. This is another one. As many people know, art journaling, you can do whatever you want. It's your journal. You're the only one that's going to see it. You're the only one that's going to be able to pick it off the shelf and look through the pages. So, background is done in watercolor. I believe these were all Winsor & Newton. And then obviously there's my ink, my calligraphy that I'm still practicing on. I cut her out of a coloring book. I thought it looked pretty fancy. So I'm just going to do what I do. This one kind of messed up with, I ended up using Mod Podge and I shouldn't have, but now I know. This was done in gouache. The butterflies were stamps that I put on cardstock and then cut them out and glued them on there. So you can see on this one too that the Mod Podge didn't work very well with the gouache, but that's all right. This next one, this one I think might have taken me the longest to do. This is a stamp. I actually took watercolor, did the background in like 3 different shades of brown. And then I stamped, I actually have this stamp, it's pretty cool. So I thought that would be kind of cool. This was a die cut, and I was eager to use it. I had got it for Christmas and I just hadn't used it yet and wanted to see how it worked. So it worked out pretty good. And then this was a stamp back here that I had. I think it was from an Easter stamp, and I just used it and used some watercolor markers in there to fill it in and blend it out. Then this little birdie over here was a stamp, and I colored it and cut it out and glued it on there. This one, we're not even going to talk about it. This one, I was at work and was kind of bored. We didn't have a lot of patients that day, didn't have surgeries or anything, so had the moment in time to just I drew my bunny out, and then I drew the hill and then the background. So this is all done in Derwent watercolor pencils, and I had never used them before. I never really did a whole lot with watercolor pencils, and my mom, it has been my inspiration for a lot of things as far as art goes, because she can do a lot of awesome stuff. So she told me that I should try it, and if I liked it, then I could keep up with it, and if not, then I didn't have to deal with it. But I just used the watercolor pencils, and there she be. This one, I had actually got the design off of Pinterest, and I had seen it, and I really liked how it was done, except for the background was all blue and all that good stuff. But I changed it and did a little bit of my own little thing on there, and then I put a quote up there. My husband hates the dandelions that are in our yard, so he is like, well, I gotta cut the grass. So that's what actually he's doing right now, because the dandelions are coming up. I think they're pretty. My favorite color is yellow, so I think they're pretty. This one, I think this was kind of an all-day ordeal too. The background is done in watercolor, of course, and then I have these stamps that I used. And then I actually drew, I was pretty surprised with myself that I drew this all by my lonesome. And then these are stamps. Like I said, I'm not the best drawer in the world, but I'm going to improvise where I need to. This one was also done in gouache. My mom loves coffee. I love coffee. All my friends adore coffee, so I figured, I was thinking of my friend, and she's one of my art inspirations too. She loves everything, and she is, I think, one of my greatest supporters. But I thought of her whenever I was doing this. I'm like, oh, that would be really cool. She'd really like that one. Then this one is done in watercolor pencils. I drew all of this stuff out, and then I had to have a stamp to do the bird. And I thought that that would be kind of cute, having it that dark and whatnot. So, and then I put a little quote on there, because quotes are my favorite. And then this one, again, we're not going to talk about that one. It's not the greatest in the world, but I was just kind of piddle farting, had about 5 minutes to do my thing before I had to leave, and wanted to do something before I left for work. This one, I originally got the idea from the Frugal Crafter. She's one of the ones that I adore. If you ever want to watch her watercolor, please go to her YouTube page. She is the greatest, in my opinion. But this was a design by her, and I had followed along with it and was watching it and whatnot, and then just kind of took it over to my own art journal page. This one is also one of hers. I was, again, piddle farting. I'm getting ready to go to the beach next week, so I was like, I'm just going to practice and get my art stuff together, and I will do a video of what I'm going to pack for the beach. There's going to be 4 of us girls going, and they're like, Anna, you need to bring us colored pencils, and you need to bring us this. So I have like this huge bag that I'm going to have to bring with me, so the girls have something to do, because they got mad because I was going to bring my watercolor palette, and they're like, you're not going to bring us nothing? So that was my part of my thing. I was working on that and what I wanted to bring and all that good stuff. This one is beach inspired, because we're going to the beach, obviously. I wanted to do seashell. Again, not the greatest drawer, but I think you get the idea. This one is just a blank page, because I had started something and colored over it with acrylic, and I plan on doing something with this one later, but right now it's just blank. This one's kind of a hot mess I tried to do. I was out at the lake, and it was like 98 degrees, and everything just did not go to plan. As you can see, nothing really blended well. My paper actually started peeling. So we won't be doing that again. This one, I love tulips. They're my favorite flower, and I was curious as to whether or not I can draw them. So no stamp, just watercolor and a quote on there, and I think it's pretty snazzy, if I do say so myself. This one I think is super duper cute. I did these in watercolor pencils, and these darker rocks are done in actual Prismacolor colored pencils. I just wanted to add something else on there to not make it look quite so real, I guess. So I just added that on there. This was a stamp that I used for these leaves, and I just used the colored pencil, or the watercolor colored pencils, and kind of colored it in there and just blended it out a little bit. The bubbles I did with my watercolor markers. I think bubbles are probably like my favorite thing to do. In the mermaid one, I did the bubbles the same way. And then these little dudes came out of a adult coloring book. It was a sea themed one, and when I was packing I saw those and I was like, I'm gonna color those ones. So I used alcohol markers on these ones, and to be honest, they look pretty stinking good. Not gonna lie. My cat just jumped up on me, sorry. And this one was kind of a, I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. I had subscribed to the Art Snacks box, and I had got these things. I'm like, what am I gonna do with these things? It was a calligraphy pen, a Faber-Castell India ink marker, and then the other one was a acrylic paint marker. I'd never used any of those, so I was kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do. So I drew this kitty cat, and whoops, there's a kitty cat. I drew this and just kind of went from there with it. And I think that's it. Yep, that's it for now. But yeah, inspiration right there. Regardless of what material you have, whether you're an artist, whether you're not an artist, you can do whatever you want to do. It's your art journal. It's your art. If you don't like it, start over. Do a new page. It's not going to matter. You're not posting these things up to sell for hundreds of dollars. You're not trying to get commission off of these things. This is your art journal. You do what you want to do. If you're feeling black, dark, and demonic on that day, and you're painting nothing but stars or, you know, monsters or whatever, do it. No, I don't care. The more that I see of the diversity of things, the better. That's just your talent. That's how you're feeling that day. If you want to be all bright and spunky and everything and do nothing but flowers and rainbows and everything like that, do it. No one can stop you. Practice makes perfect. So there's my art journal. I hope to have the other video that I'm posting on what I'm taking to the beach next week. Hopefully this weekend. Today is Tuesday. Hopefully, like I said, I will have that up, and then when I come back from the beach, I can show you what I did. Well, thanks for watching today. Bye.